YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy ConcisetheBarber, and in this video, we are going to be talking about a new release from Andis. It is the Recon Clipper and Trimmer Combo. We're going to dive right into this. I'm going to tell you exactly everything that I would think that you would like to hear about it, and also is this something that's going to stay on your station. So let's get into the unboxing. Let's see what I got to say about it.
CTB, you know who it is.
All right, y'all. So y'all seen the unboxing. Y'all see these two clippers and trimmers from Andis. This is something different from them. I know we've been waiting for something from Andis like this, and honestly, y'all, they've been doing a lot. So let's see with this Recon combo, if this is something that's really going to change the game for you or not. So let's get right into it. So when it comes to the price, right, for the clipper and the trimmer, clipper is $289.99 on their website. Now you might find this a little bit cheaper somewhere else, but if you are using their website, you can also use my discount code Concise10 to save yourself some money. And also when it comes to the trimmer, this is $229.99. And like I said, you can use my discount code, or you could try to find this at a different price, probably at a local beauty supply store if there's a difference in pricing. But that's the price for these, and I will have to say this is Andis like high-end price products that they have. They also, of course, have the cordless masters. They always been up in that price range around $300, $250, but now we got a combo set that's up in that price range. And like I said before in some of my videos, is that Andis has something for everybody. Like either if you like high-end quality products or budget-friendly products as well, Andis has it all. Now let's talk about the power and battery life. We're going to talk about the power, and I'm going to stay here just for a little bit so everybody understands what this is. So how much power did they give us in these Recons? So the clipper is said to be 9,000 RPMs and the trimmer is supposed to be 8,500 RPMs. They still do rev up. So I'm gonna assume that they didn't give us the amount that they rev up, but I'm assume since with this type of motor, I'm gonna say around 11,500. But where do they rest at? So when I tested out these Recon clippers, they rested at 8,963 RPMs, and the trimmer rested at 8,720 RPMs. So that being said, the trimmer outperforms. The clipper is literally right at like just under the 9,000, but it still revs up. And honestly, they stay true to what they say what the RPMs are. If not, it's a little bit more or just a little bit less. That's the power. So let's talk about the linear motor. Now, I do want to talk about that because it's an interesting type of motor that they put in here. Now, I do want you to understand that a linear motor is still considered somewhat of a magnetic motor, or a type of magnetic motor like a vector motor, which is a motor that revs, right? It gives you more power, more torque, depending on how much resistance it's going to go up against. That's what makes the magnetic motor a vector motor. If you have a linear motor, so the linear motor is a motor that has two pieces on each side to make sure that the blade moves perfectly side by side. It's not oscillating like the regular magnetic motor, but also as a vector motor, which revs up the torque. This gives you pure power at a consistent level, and if it does need to, it will rev up. So that being said, the linear motor is a different, unique style of how the motor operates to give us more of a cleaner, crisp cut and keeping that cutting blade left to right. So if you notice that Andis has been focusing on how their blades operate even more. They gave us the Enforce blade, which is the magnetic tension, which is allowing the blade to sit and rest on a steel blade that helps with heat resistance and also helps with keeping that blade stable. So now they're doing a linear motor with this clipper and trimmer that's keeping that blade stable. But we will talk about, well, how does that affect the heat as well? So that's the power, right? Now, when it comes to battery life, when it comes to the clipper, you get a 4-hour runtime and a 2-hour charge time. Of course, I love that. Now, some of us might be surprised that Andis gave us that, and they probably thought it would be around 2.5 to 2 hours of a charge time, but 4 hours of a run time with a 2 hour charge time. I'm not mad at that. Now the trimmer is half that. It gives us a 2 hour run time with an hour of a charge time. Like, to be honest, 4 hours, 2 hours, you can't beat that. Now, this is a motor like a magnetic vector motor. It's going to give you a lot of power. Constantly always using it. We're going to talk about that because that part is very, very important when it comes to this set. But let's get straight into the packaging. Packaging, when it comes to both of them, I do like their packaging and they're doing it right. I think, like, to me, they're definitely listening. I remember when they gave us some guards, they gave us the 1 and the 0 guard, but with this, with the Recon, they gave us 6 guards. They gave us the 0 guard to the 4 guard. You get the clipper, the charging dock. You actually get 2 interchangeable lids. You get gunmetal comes on the clipper, and then you get black lids and also gold lids. So to me, that is dope. Like, that is different from Andis. They're giving us more in the packaging, which hence was probably also which affects the price as well. With the trimmer, you do get some trimmer guards, and of course you get the USB-C cord that these both have. So that's the packaging. So I'm not mad at their packaging at all. I definitely feel like they gave us everything that we're looking for, especially with this price range. It's not even over $300 for each piece, but they could have if they wanted to. Now, honestly, it would have been nice if they would have hit that like real $300 mark, add an extra blade, you know what I mean? Y'all know me and my extra blade stuff, but that's, to me, I'm not mad at the price. I'm not mad at the packaging. I think they're doing good so far. So let's talk about the design, right? This design right here. Now, I have had the trimmer for some time. I've been doing some testing with it, and I definitely think that they did a good job with how this thing looks and also feels. So with the clipper, this is like, I'm recently just getting this clipper. You know, I had it for a few weeks now, but I would say that I do like how this feels. They kept this front area nice and strong and bold, which I do like. You do get the Andis logo, the gunmetal lid. You can do the see-through of the A right there with the linear motor. When you turn this on, now I think that I might have, you know, some input in this, and, you know, just let me have my moment right here. Okay, so when you turn this on, you see the logo that turns on for the power battery indicator. That's dope. That's fire. I like that. Now, of course, I showed y'all you get the USB-C. And when you flip it to the back, this is 2 grooves right here. It's nice and soft grooves. They're not really pronounced like how the Sabres grooves are pronounced. These are just some really nice soft grooves right here, but it does fit well in hand. This plastic piece right here is exactly where I rest my thumb at. So how I use this, it works perfectly fine. You get the Recon phase blade. This is a phase blade, and I'm going to talk about this blade too more in my observation section, because there's something I noticed that they did. I like it, but I'm like, oh man, at the same time. So anyway, they gave us a new a new lever. Now this is click and floating. I got it on floating right now, but if you have a screw and turn it, you could turn it to click. And let me do that. So I'm gonna turn this to click real quick. Just a little turn, it turns it to click. Now, I will have to say, even though this is click, I'm not a fan of this click. I'm really not. I just like Andis with floating levers, right? This is a nice, more of a strong, sturdy click. I do like a softer click, like how the JROs are. Me personally, I just don't like the click on my Andis clippers, so I keep it as floating. So that's the design of the clipper. Now this is all metal body, so it does have some weight to it. And honestly, I'm not mad at the weight, and I think the weight is around 12.5 ounces. So I'm not mad at that. Like, to me, I can deal with that. So that's that when it comes to the design of the clipper. Now in the trimmer, basically the same concept. Everything's almost basically the same. The blade is different and no lever. So of course you get the Andis logo, thumbprint, still the same 2 grooves. Of course you got the rubber grip right here. Got that Andis battery indicator logo set up. That's fire. I don't care what nobody says. USB-C, and yeah, it's basically the same. Now this does have the Recon blade. Now I do believe that the Recon blade and the Phenom blade is basically the same. Now there could be some small differences, and what I mean by small differences, I mean like the corners might be a little bit different. The cutting blade is basically the same. How they're gapped might be different too, because my trimmers, they're gapped to perfection, to be honest. Like, I think these are gap to perfection straight out of the box, and like you don't have to do nothing with it. But that's the design, right? So all in all, people, you probably came here to know how well did they perform. And I'm going to tell you right now, linear motor, this is like in the family of magnetic vector motors, stuff like that. It's just a different style of how this motor operates. They're a beast. Like if you're a person that likes magnetic vector motors, like if you like these type of motors, you're going to be like, yo, these are some workhorses, right? Easy comparable to a lot of other motors out there, like the vector motors that are out there. But I would have to say that when it comes to Andis, the preciseness in some areas, I think they just have a notch up. So performance wise, they do perform very, very well. They both can do great at balding out. In my videos, I use my trimmers to bald out so y'all can see how well they bald out. But I've also been using my clipper. Now, this is how I originally cut. Majority of the times is balding out with my clipper. This blade is a little bit interesting because, like I said, they did something that I love, but I'm like, well, they did something I thought was kind of interesting, but then I was like, well, why this at the same time? Performance-wise, they're amazing. They do great. This cuts any hair texture. And that's one thing about Andis is that I think they focus on a lot, is that they focus on making sure that their products can cut all hair textures basically the same, no snag, no pull, none of that. So I do like that with the clipper. Same thing with the trimmer. The trimmer is a tap and go type of trimmer, especially how this thing is set. It does perform well. Now, am I saying that this is completely different from any other vector motor clippers and trimmers out there? No, I'm not saying that. There's certain things that I think that Andis has that you will know that they do just a little bit different than some other brand. So let's get into the observation section. Now, this right here might make or break your decision on if this is a set that you will pick up or not, because even though that I think these things are amazing, there are some things you might not like about it. So let me just do this observation. I like the floating lever, hands down. But if you're a person that likes click lever, you might not like this click lever. It is a little bit stiff, but I do think this is a way better machine, in the floating area. Now, when it comes to this being linear motor, being in the family of vector motor, magnetic motor, when you are using this to cut, I've noticed that the blade, depending on how well you cut, how long, how fast you are with your cuts, the blade can warm up. It can warm up. I ain't gonna say it gets overly hot. I have used some clippers where I'm like, it's just too overbearing. I can't say that, but I actually think they did a good job of how long this thing can last before it gets really like sensitive to the touch of using it. So I will say that the blade, it can get warm. Now, when it comes to the sound of this, I'm a rotary brush motor person and a brushless motor person. That's my favorite type of motor, hands down. But I will have to say, when it comes to this and the sound of this, it's around 71 decibels, and you might like that, you might not. That might be too high of decibels. When it comes to the trimmers, it's just a little bit lower, and I think this is at 65. Honestly, I think they did an amazing job. Like with the trimmer, I think the trimmer sounds well, it performs well, it's gapped well. Like this is a trimmer I could see a lot of people easily picking up. And the weight of this trimmer is 8.7 ounces. So if that's a little bit too heavy for you, I completely understand. But I will say that these things do perform very, very well. But of course, with this type of motor, with this type of system, it can get warm on you. I'm not going to say that it's going to get crazy hot. Now, if you're a person that takes more than an hour just using the clipper, then yeah, it's going to get hot on you, but it will warm up. I just didn't want to leave that out. Now, the thing I really wanted to talk about with this clipper, and I was talking about how this thing can bald out well. There's something that they did with this cutting blade that I like, and also what I don't like. I'll be honest. The cutting blade, to me, I always love Andis cutting blades because they kept that durable thickness of a cutting blade with nice teeth that just works well with their steel blade. With this one, they went a different route and they made it that thin type of blade. Even though it's a little bit thicker, they made it a thin type of blade. But I will say this, they also gave us an interesting shape on the teeth of the cutting blade, which is still like their way of giving like a smooth bevel on the top of the teeth. I have this adjusted. I found that space where this thing can take out bald lines. It can put in lines. It can do anything and everything that I need this clipper to do, that sometimes I can skip the trimmer on when it comes to balding out and stuff like that. So once you find that setting that works for you, and I found mine, I love that. I do love it. Now, I just wish they would have kept it kind of thicker. Maybe they couldn't, I don't know. Maybe with this type of motor, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. But that's what I noticed about this Recon blade. I do love the phase blade of this. The cutting blade, I'm still testing it out. I'm still gonna see how well this performs, but I do have it set to a certain place where I really, really enjoy it, and this thing can do it all. So that is my thoughts. Now, my concise review on this staying on my station, yes, it's staying on the station. For me, I definitely think the price is reasonable with this set and everything that it comes with. I'm glad they got into this motor lane because now I can do some healthy comparisons on what Andis has going on. And to be honest, y'all, I think this is like their 8th or 9th drop within like 10 to 11 months. So it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. But that's my concise review. This is staying on my station. I would love to know your thoughts. What you think about the Recon clipper and trimmer combo, and let me know if this is something that's going to stay on your station or not. Thank y'all for watching this. I have another video dealing with Andis, and like I said, they have a lot of products. We're going to talk about it. And to you, I'm curious, do you feel like they're making a strong comeback in the clipper game? So I can't wait to see you in the next video as well. Y'all be blessed. Take it easy.
CTB. You know who it is.